Hmong legend, Thong Ye and the Sky Maiden. Once upon a time, deep within a hidden valley, there lay a mystical pond where a flock of wild jungle fowl would often descend to bathe. One day, a young hunter named Thong Ye stumbled upon this sight. Fascinated, he hatched a plan to catch one. He returned home, fashioned a snare, and carefully set it around the water's edge. The very next morning, Thong Ye returned to check his trap and found a magnificent, beautiful bird caught in the snare. But as he approached to set it free, the bird suddenly transformed. She shed her wings and tail feathers, revealing herself to be a woman of breathtaking beauty. Stunned, Thong Ye asked who she was and why she disguised herself as a bird. The maiden replied that her name was a Sky Maiden from the heavens. She explained that her sisters came there because the water was actually sweet wine, and they would fly down to drink and make merry. Believing it was destiny that she was caught, she agreed to become his wife. Overjoyed, Thong Ye took home, and legend has it that this encounter is why people on Earth learned to use yeast starters to brew wine. Time passed, and war broke out in the kingdom. The king issued a decree conscripting Thong Ye to serve as a general in the army. Before departing, he took 2 gold rings and placed them on Ye's finger, vowing that as long as the rings stayed on her finger, he was alive. To keep her safe, he took her magical feather suit and hid it beneath the rice granary before marching off to war for 3 long years. Back at home, Thong Ye's father, a superstitious man, became convinced by a fortune that he must sacrifice to the spirits to ensure his son's victory. With her execution set for 3 days later, Thong Ye's first wife helped find her hidden feather suit. Knowing she had to flee, buried the 2 gold rings inside a termite mound at the edge of the village with a message for her husband not to follow her, for the journey to the sky was impossible for a mortal. She then donned her wings and soared back into the heavens. 3 days later, Thong Ye returned victorious. Upon hearing the news, he rushed to the termite mound to retrieve the rings. Despite the termite mound's warning, Thong Ye declared he would follow his wife to the ends of the earth. Moved by his devotion, the termite mound gave him 2 magic fruits to help him overcome obstacles. Thong Ye began his arduous journey using the magic fruits to split mountains, open paths through cliffs, and silence the tigers and dragons that blocked his way. Eventually, he reached a boiling river. He wept in despair until 2 spirits advised him to walk the middle path, allowing him to cross safely into a deep, ancient jungle. There, he met a green worm and kindly shared his rice with it. Grateful, the green worm volunteered to guide him to a massive tree where giant sky eagles roosted. The worm explained that the eagles would fly to the heavens the next day for Ye's new wedding feast. Using magic, Thong Ye shrank himself down to the size of a caterpillar, hid within the eagle's feathers, and hitched a ride to the city of the sky. Upon landing, Thong Ye and the green worm saw a maid fetching water for the bride and her new groom. Slyly, Thong Ye dropped the 2 gold rings into the water bowl and told the maid to ask her mistress to wash her hands before drinking. When dipped her hands in, the rings instantly jumped back onto her finger. Recognizing them immediately, she shoved the new groom aside and proclaimed to the gathering that her true husband had arrived. Her father, the great Sky King, was furious that the wedding was ruined and decided to test this mortal with impossible trials. First, he handed Thong Ye a gun and ordered him to shoot a mountain and turn it into a flat rice paddy instantly. He fired, and the mountain flattened. He fired again, and it returned. Next, the king ordered him to hunt 9 cows and 9 buffaloes, which Thong Ye accomplished with ease. Not satisfied, the king erected a massive cloud pillar and ordered Thong Ye to climb to the dizzying top to pick a magic leaf. Terrified, Thong Ye listened to his friend, the green worm, who whispered to him to look only at his feet.
When he reached the top, he blew on the leaf, creating a storm so violent the king begged him to come down. The king then hid 9 women behind a curtain, showing only their fingers, and challenged Thong Ye to identify his wife. The faithful green worm flew and landed on Ye's finger, allowing Thong Ye to guess correctly. That night, the king set a trap by placing a magic rug in front of the bedroom, intended to kill anyone who stepped on it. Warned by the green worm, Thong Ye avoided the rug and climbed a sash hanging from the ceiling to reach the attic safely. For the final trial, the king ordered Thong Ye to sleep in the middle of a dry field and set the perimeter on fire. Following the green worm's advice, Thong Ye placed bamboo segments filled with water on either side of him. When the fire raged, the bamboo burst, creating a protective pool. When the smoke cleared, Thong Ye was sitting there unharmed, smiling amidst the ashes. Finally, the great Sky King admitted defeat and accepted Thong Ye as his son-in-law. After staying in the heavens so Ye could sew a new suit of wings for her husband, the couple flew down from the sky, returned to the earth, and lived happily ever after.